On the DNVR Broncos Podcast.
Wait.
We've got Todd Davis,
Wait.
Chisholm. You're here behind the camera, and yours truly rocking and rolling with you in the Toyota Lab, which is driven by your Front Range Stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Fellas, how we doing today?
It's a good day. Another good day for me. Hank, how you feeling?
Oh, great. I mean, we got this big old clock here. Yaya was yelling a bunch for the show. I haven't even drank this yet. This little...
Is that your caffeine for the day?
Yeah. I'm trying... Those cold brews are too strong. The Celsiuses aren't really doing much for me anymore.
Oh, dang.
So I'm trying this, which doesn't have nearly as much caffeine as the Celsius, but I think technically, I think the Celsius has more caffeine than the cold brew. So, like, I don't think it's all caffeine related.
Yeah, that's like saying, like, the ice cream wasn't doing it for me for the sugar kick, so instead I'm switching to blueberries. Like, you're kind of decreasing on the sugar. How do you think that's going to give you more of a kick?
I think when you do the same thing every day, it just loses the impact. I think once I get through this, it's just going to be like, my system will be shocked, you know? Be like, what is this? And
Something new.
Yeah.
You might have to take a break from caffeine for a while.
I probably
It's like
do.
drugs. When you do a lot of drugs in a row, it don't affect you the same.
Is that what happened?
You can tell you, that's why I don't do, you know what I'm saying? But,
Yeah, not yours.
I don't know. It kind of sounded
from
like...
talking to you here, he told me that.
Exactly. Yeah. You hear? He
We do
loves his
occasionally
crack,
see
we
some
know
puffs
that.
of smoke coming from behind the cameras.
I stopped
Never
smoking.
know.
I'm afraid of lung cancer.
Oh, you stopped smoking
I saw a
3 days ago?
documentary.
I know.
No, it's actually longer, about 2 weeks now.
I was telling him, like,
There we go.
He told me that, and I was like-
scared you straight?
that actually, like,
Documentary got me scared for my life. I want to be around for my babies.
I feel you.
you don't have babies.
I will eventually.
Yeah, but he said that to me. I was like, that's inspiring. Like, it kind of made me want to start smoking
Just
so
to
that I
stop.
could stop. Because then I could have, like, that, like, impactful story of, like, guys, you wouldn't believe what I just did.
Or just
I stopped smoking.
Or just quit caffeine. I think Todd nailed it on the head. Then you can say, like, yeah, guys,
don't-
I quit caffeine.
I need it, though. It's like a PED.
Well, then you're going to start smoking and then feel that exact same way. You're going to be like, well, I can't quit smoking. I need it.
Well, but that's need for this is like a work need. This is 11 a.m. show. My brain doesn't turn on until 1. Like, this just accelerates me 2 hours.
Your brain doesn't even turn on to begin with.
There we go. But was your mic on, or was that not turned on either?
I turned it on just so I can roast you on that one.
Okay, I'm sure.
Man, this sounds like the end of John Franklin Myers and the Jets' relationship. Just couldn't figure things out. And so now he's a Denver Bronco. Actually, that's not how things went down. Apparently, what happened and why the Broncos were able to land John Franklin Myers on draft day was the Jets traded for Hassan Reddick, and they've signed a bunch of players. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is getting a lot of money. And so once they traded for Hassan Reddick, they said, John Franklin Myers, we can't afford you anymore. I mean, you're $15 million this year, you're $15 million next year. They chose Hassan Reddick over John Franklin Myers, and they pretty much said the best thing is probably just going to be going somewhere else. Like, I don't even know if they offered him a restructured deal. According to John Franklin Myers himself, they didn't offer him the same deal the Broncos offered him. So if they offered him anything, it was much less than that. And he said, no, I think a trade's good. And they said, yeah, you can go find a trade partner. Apparently there were a couple of teams involved in the trade market for him. And the Broncos, because of George Payton's relationship with his agent and with the Jets, was able to get this deal done where, what is it, like a 6th round pick in 2 years from now is what they sent to the Jets. So barely anything. Technically, if you evaluate that, that's equivalent to an 8th round pick this year. 8th round picks don't exist, so it's equivalent to less than a 7th round pick. So, I mean, this is like the Zach Wilson deal. Pretty much give the Jets nothing to get something in return. But John Franklin Myers is going to have a much bigger impact on this team, in my opinion, than Zach Wilson's going to have.
I agree. It's funny that he got, not funny that he got traded for Hassan Reddick, because I would say they kind of different things.
100%.
And different body types and different styles. So I liked what I saw on film. We'll do the inside scoop a little bit later today, but I think he's a good big man, 288. Has good speed, good quickness at that size, good twitch, motor. So I think he'll definitely help out this group. And I'm very interested to see how they use him. He has a lot of different ways to be, I guess, utilized. So it's interesting on how the Broncos will choose to use him.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the final piece with the Jets is that, like, so they run the 4-3, and so you have Quinnen Williams and Javon Kinlaw inside, two solid options. You've got like some depth pieces, but then their defensive ends now, Jermaine Johnson, the first-round pick last year, and then Hassan Reddick, who's the other defensive end. So John Franklin Myers is a defensive end for them, like, but that big mauling 4-3 type, and you just swap him out for more of a speed rusher, which makes sense given the other three guys you got up there, and it would be really nice. And they said, like, we'd love to have him because there's still plenty of snaps. Like, a defensive lineman playing 60% of the snaps is a big workload. So you could have like that 5-man rotation. You probably include one other guy. Everybody gets to eat, but it just costs so much that they can't justify it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so they're replacing? I thought just they added Hassan Reddick to be like, honestly, an outside linebacker, like a totally different position than him.
Yeah.
They're just replacing him with Hassan Reddick?
Yeah.
Those are very different players.
Very different, very different. But maybe they're rethinking how they have that D end playing. Because sometimes you'll see John Franklin Myers, he lines up in this like really wide 5 technique.
Yep.
And if you're out there that wide, you can kind of play it like a outside linebacker instead of like being very hands-on and physical with the tackle because you're not as close. You have more time to set up your blocks. You have more time to slip blocks depending on their blocking scheme. So it could work. But, you know, I think he was a good piece to their puzzle. And the thing that I really liked about him is they move him inside on third down.
Yep.
So he's a DN on first, second down, but on third down, they move him to D tackle. And then he'll just like either like spy the quarterback from there, rush from there. A lot of times he rushes to contain from there. So it was a good kind of like piece that they could move around however they saw fit. But sometimes when the money doesn't add up, the numbers just don't add up.
And also, I mean, that's what Reddick is too. Not the exact style, but also like a very versatile player who like is kind of a linebacker. You can have him as a pure rusher. And they seem to just have him rushing the edge every single down now.
Yeah.
But they really swap a versatile piece for another versatile piece that they think is just a better fit for what they need, which I think makes sense. Like if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, you need just a pure speed edge rusher. And, you know, Will McDonald, kind of an exciting prospect last year, but hasn't really shown it. Like they just don't have or didn't have that guy before they went and got Hassan Reddick. So it makes sense. But obviously it's a big loss. Like they've had that great run defense for so long, and having just that many big bodies out there is a part of the reason why. Like when you look at the Broncos, when they've got like their front seven, that's a lighter front seven than the front seven that the Jets have run these last few years when you have a Franklin Myers on the edge. So it's definitely like an interesting decision on the Jets side. It makes a lot of sense, I think. But from a Broncos perspective, it's also it gets you wondering about how exactly they foresee him fitting in with the team.
Well, I think just really quick to wrap up the conversation on the Jets side of things, I think the Jets are saying we're going to be playing with a lead a lot because Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy, and they're banking on that. So they're saying we'd rather have a dominant pass rusher and are okay with losing some size and losing some beef against the run, even though John Franklin Myers, for a bigger guy, can get to the quarterback, and we'll get to that in a second. But they're making a gamble that we're going to be really good this year. And hey, I mean, they're going all in on Aaron Rodgers for a short window, so I see why they did that move. But it did open up John Franklin Myers to the Denver Broncos, and the Jets were really bummed to lose John Franklin Myers from a personal standpoint and from a player standpoint. We're going to get into just he is such a fan favorite. He's loved in the locker room. He's loved by his coaches. I mean, the Jets general manager was almost getting emotional after they traded him, and he was talking to the media about it. He said, when we made the trade for Hassan Reddick, we knew, I can't tell you how much I love JFM as a person and a player. Denver got a hell of a player. And before we dive in to exactly what type of player he is, I want to just quickly talk about the fit that he has in Denver, because when you mentioned just that versatility, I think initially when he's traded here, it's like, oh, he's a perfect defensive end in a 3-4. That's the spot he's going to have. You're going to have Zach Allen. You're going to have DJ Jones / Malcolm Roach in that middle spot. And you're going to have JFM at that other defensive end spot in just a typical normal 3-4 package. Is that right? Or is maybe his versatility going to bump him inside on just the base package? Or could he even be going to outside linebacker standing up?
No, I think that DN spot will probably be perfect for him. Because it allowed the Broncos to have more rush than they've had from that position in a while. And then he's also strong enough to play in the run. And now he can go up against guards a little bit more than tackles in the rush. So usually guards are a little bit weaker in the passing game than tackles are. So hopefully it bodes well for him. But I think that being like a true D end will be the best thing for him and for the team. I think he'll fit well.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like in that 3-4, I think, do you think like if you have like say nose tackles DJ, you have a 3 tech and a 5 tech. Would you want Franklin Myers or Zach Allen to be your 3 tech?
No, I want. They're very similar as far as
I think so
body
too.
types.
Yeah, I'm going both
wouldn't
as a
want-
5, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you had to bump one inside,
I think Zach Allen is a good player. I think he has less pass rush ability. So I would want the
Yeah.
pass rush coming from the 5 technique.
Right.
I
yeah,
think you have less clutter in there with both a center and 2 guards.
yeah.
So just beat one guard and we'll have, good rushes. So I would probably move him to the 5.
So in that like base 3-4, then like your 3 down linemen, do you come out with those guys? Because that's kind of my first question is like I think in your nickel packages it's super simple because if it's a rush down like it's 3rd and 10 whatever, you come out in nickel. You want Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers inside rushing.
Yeah.
I think that if
Those are
it's like
interior
a
rushes.
1st and 10 and they're in nickel, and so you have to like worry about the run game a little bit, that's where I'd probably go DJ Jones and Zach Allen inside with Franklin Myers as your strong side end. Because you're not looking for the pass rush. You can go heavy there, and you can just, like, you're big enough to stop the run, and that just makes the job so much easier for the linebackers. They can almost focus more on coverage with those guys up there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways you could do it. I think that's definitely one and a smart one. I think I wouldn't mind seeing DJ Jones and Roach and then also put in Franklin Myers on the edge, and then you could play with whether you want Zach Allen in the game or do you want a pass rush on the other side. Like, you could be really heavy up front and dare them to throw the ball. I think this puts us with options now.
Exactly. And that's where, so with all these nickel packages, there's somewhere I really like Franklin Myers. Like, that's what I feel like he unlocks. It's like that run pass versatility that, again, if you're playing 60% of the snaps, I want him out there just about every nickel snap I can.
Yeah.
Which means when you're playing that base 3-4, I'd almost just take him off the field. Like, maybe not every down. Like, there's times you rotate him in, whatever, but I'd almost look at that as Roach, Jones, and Zach Allen when you're in, like, those heavier formations so that you can kind of save him for the nickel and sub packages. Does that make sense? Or
Yeah, definitely.
Just
And-
because you get a little redundant with him and Zach Allen both in there in the 3-4.
And I think I saw that at times watching film with the Jets because they rotated a lot. And so there was plenty of times where, he would go in, play first, second, and third down. But then there's other times when they would have a second group in and they would play first, second down, and third down, he comes in to provide that pass rush. So I definitely get what you're saying because he is versatile. And then that third down, I think he can help.
I think he'd be perfect in the Beyond Zero package. Have you heard of that, Todd?
No.
It's Toyota's vision to reach beyond carbon neutrality with their products, and they are all about being beyond
up.
zero. And I think John Franklin Myers would look good in one of these cars. And over at Toyota, you have so many different options. Guess how many hybrid vehicles they have?
7.
7, Henry?
I'll go 8.
How about 90? 90
90?
Wait,
different
what? You
hybrid
can't have 90.
vehicles.
There's no way
They don't have
I-
90 different vehicles.
How about plug-in hybrid vehicles? Well, there's different like classes
Tiers.
of
Yeah,
vehicles.
okay.
So I'm
Okay.
sure that
I can get
factors
behind
into
that.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. How many plug-in hybrid vehicles do you think Toyota has?
If we're talking, there's 90 now. I'm going to probably say 60.
Okay, I see.
I'll go
You're
61, yeah.
How about 6? Yeah.
Oh, my God.
This is
And then
not,
what
the
about
math is not adding
what
up.
about battery electric vehicles? Keep it simple.
10.
So what's the difference in the hybrids?
Hybrids are like gas plus
Yes.
the
Yeah,
electric.
okay.
Then plug-ins are electric
Yes.
plus I think a little bit of gas. And then battery is purely no gas at all.
Okay. 4.
Close. Todd's closer.
Did I lose all these?
They got one of these right now. They're continuing to work on it. But
I like
over
it.
at Toyota, you can get so many battery and hybrid and plug-in hybrid. So make sure to check them out over at your Front Range Toyota store at AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota west of Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL, an official vehicle of DNVR.
And shout out to our friends over at Circa, too. I'm trying to decide. The Rockies play at 1. I'm thinking I just need to bet against the Rockies.
Oh
But
boy, this will be their only win. Then if
see,
you do
then
that.
that's the thing. Is like if I actually bet against them, the one time they win, it's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Kill you.
Yesterday, I think it was the first inning. They went down 6-0, so it was like 20-1 odds, and I was like, sure, give me $5 on that, and if I turn it into a bunch of money, that's awesome. And they actually gave it a good run. They hit like a home run in the 9th and wound up losing 8-6. So I think the answer might just be don't ever bet on the Rockies, regardless of whether it's for them or against them. But then the Avs tonight. The Avs is where I'm going to make some money. I think they're still plus 100, if I remember correctly. But all these bets tonight going over with Circa. It's an awesome sports book. They've got tight money line splits. They have a low hold model, which basically means they don't give out a whole bunch of like crazy specials or things like that, so that every single bet you can just get the best odds possible. If you want to check them out, you can go to download the app at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
Shout out to the Toyota chat. It's popping off today. And if you're in the Toyota chat or tuning in with us in any form or fashion, hit us with a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. If you're listening on the podcast side, make sure to turn on automatic downloads. It really helps us. This is something that has been happening for like years, probably since podcast started, was automatic downloads. For some reason, Apple and Spotify turned those off at the beginning of this year, and it's really hurt us. So it'd really help us if you guys would just turn those on. And then also it helps you because your podcast will pop up right when we publish it, so you know when it's live. Something I know you're going to appreciate is the Inside Scoop with our inside linebacker, Todd Davis. You're not going to get a better breakdown of defensive film than right now.
Sorry.
No,
He said
did.
it, you
Henry
know.
did.
Oh, wow.
Henry did offensive film
He's done
yesterday.
defense
He did offensive
before.
film
He's done defense
yesterday.
before.
Well,
But he does a great job.
There's going to be a defensive player soon, and I'm gonna show you what's
You're
up.
gonna
Zach.
Okay, there
Yeah.
we go. There we go. I like that.
All right, so we got John Franklin Myers, a.k.a. JFM. And I think he's a talented player. He's 6'4", 288 DN. I believe he had 38 tackles last year, 3.5 sacks. He had 5 the year before that. But I think he's a talented player. Fourth round pick by the Rams in 2018. There was a year where I didn't see any stats that I was kind of confused on. It was like 2019.
Yeah,
he was injured.
Yeah. He must have been injured, and then he didn't play all that much as a rookie. It doesn't look like either. I guess he played a little. He got
Just
a couple
little
sacks,
bit.
but yeah, no starts.
But he's talented. I mean, he's a DN. Right here, they have them. This is third down. So like we talked about earlier, they have them lined up on the inside sometimes on third down, and he's right here rushing kind of like as a 4-eye. And I think he does a great job. So with him rushing here, they do a lot of things where they used to have him kind of rush to contain. So he doesn't get a sack for this play, but does a great job getting outside of the tackle here. I think he has really good hips when he's working from the inside out, especially on this right side. So he was running the game with this outside linebacker. He's outside. The outside linebacker's up and under. They call it an exit or a Texas. Some people call it, but I think he does a great job of flipping his hips, beats the tackle on the outside, ends up getting to the quarterback just a little bit late. So this sack doesn't count for him, but I thought it was a great play showing his versatility, his ability to rush from the inside on third downs, and just him as a player. So pretty good job there, and I think you see that a lot on film.
They play a lot of those games out there.
Yeah.
It feels like, and going back and watching, like even more than the Broncos, who I think do quite a few. He's a kind of an interesting body type for that, because it feels like when he's coming from the outside, he can just like clean people up. And so, like, typically if that's like your Nick Bonito, who's taking that, like, you
Different
just
body
can't do
types.
some of those same things from the edge like that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, especially with guys like Drew Sanders, who you really like rushing
Forward.
the A gaps, those sorts of things. You can almost just free him up easy outside. So I'd imagine they're planning on doing a bunch of that stuff with him.
Yeah, and then with him being a defensive end, he's used to keeping contained. He's used to getting to the quarterback from the edge. So I think it's great that he can start here, get there, and it allows your outside defenders to create different rushes and different rush lanes. So I think the way they use him is great. This overall, he's a good player, but this is one play I wanted to bring up just because it scared me just a little bit. He always is like this super wide 5 technique. So he's outside the tackles here, and he's lined up way out here. That's just the way he plays. He likes it there. But on this one, it kind of, sad, but reminded me of that Miami game. And so this was just a little bit of play recognition, toss crack. Not our favorite to see against the Broncos.
Yep.
This is him here.
Yep.
And he just kind of gets washed down.
Wait, where is he now?
Right here. I would love to see him see this and kind of play into this block a little bit and help out the defense. It's not something that happens a lot. I think he's aware of most plays and does a good job of play recognition. But this is one I had to throw in here just because it definitely, made me a little nervous remembering what happened, you know what I'm saying? Miami,
Man, especially
2023.
That was awful.
Especially line up so far outside. You think that that'd
Exactly.
be something he'd be able to do is contain and always keep contained to make sure those don't go outside, but clearly not there.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough with this block because this guy has, all the leverage on you, but you just got to be able to recognize him. This one is getting harder to see him, but I think he has.
Yeah, we're playing in a blizzard here.
Exactly. I think he has a good motor. So this is him right here again, really wide.
Oh my
on the
God,
outside.
he's so wide.
Whoa. And then, I think he has a good motor. So that's one of the things you love to see for the big men up front is there's a lot of times you can affect the play with your first move or your first rush, but there's other times where you can kind of get off a block and help make plays, 2 or 3 yards down the field. And so this is one where he comes off the ball, good hat in hands, secures the edge, nobody's running outside now, but also has the ability to use his speed and use his athletic ability to I was over here now. Doesn't mean that the play is over. I can still come and try to find to make a play on the ball. Ends up getting this tackle right here. So that's the big man come from the outside edge. He secured it and then also found a way to get in on a tackle. And so for a guy that plays linebacker, you love to see big men, Pauls, be able to get in on plays and have a motor and have an engine. So I definitely think that he is that type of guy.
Well, and you talked about the motor, and that's such a big part of not necessarily his game, but his character. And it's so clear, his motor. You noticed it. I think when you just turn on the film, you notice it. It's something the Broncos noticed. That's actually something George Payton pointed to right after the Broncos traded. George said that JFM has a relentless motor.
Yep.
And actually, that's something JFM prides himself on. He talked to our friend Chris Thomason of the Denver Gazette, and he said, John Franklin Myers said, I play with a physicality people don't want to match and aren't willing to match. And it's another opportunity in Denver to impose my will. And that's something that he has really leaned into. Todd, as you've kind of told us, if you're not a first-round pick, you're not a second-round pick, you're a fourth-round pick who was cut his first year after being with the Rams in the NFL, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, or you're an undrafted guy. You have to play with the motor if you want to make it in the NFL.
Without a doubt. You only get one chance, man. They don't really give us first round pick chances time and time again.
No Zach Wilson chances.
Yeah, hey, he's a Bronco now. So this is him on the edge right here. I think, like I talked about, you'd see the crack toss, but most of the game he's very, very aware of different situations. So he gets an influence block right here on this tight end. So this tight end is supposed to run out, and they hope that this D end kind of hangs with him a little bit, just enough time to open up space in here for the O-lineman to get their blocks and, for young Cook to be able to find his way through the hole. But doesn't fool him. He knows what's happening, sees the influence block, and then he actually is the one right here making this tackle. So he was out here, didn't get fooled, and was able to come back inside and make this play. So good situational awareness and good ability to always find the football and get to it.
So, Todd, there's a lot of people in the Twitter chat right now saying, why is he lining up so wide? Does he need to be so wide? Is that the defense or is that him?
I think that it's him. I think it's his style. Let me go back and see what. Well, he is wider than this guy, but they are both wide out there. But that could be two things. I guess he is pretty wide too. That could be two things. One, a defensive scheme, and then also his ability to rush. I think when you're able to change those angles, it allows for a better rush. So like guys like Vaughn or TJ Watt, they can align tighter to the tackle because of how great their hips are. Because you can run kind of upfield but still be able to turn at like a right angle. I think when you make it, 75-degree angle more, you're able to, it requires less hip flip, to be able to get around the corner.
So then is there any concern that he's going to be more in a 3-4 defense? The defensive end is not going to be able to line up outside the tight end or the tackle. Is there any concern with that his game translating to being inside?
Not for me, because I've seen him on third down.
Love it.
What I'm saying? Head up the tackle or slightly inside in a 4-eye. So I know that he can do it. He may feel comfortable out here, but I feel like he also lines up right here and does a great job of that as well.
I think the Broncos are going to have him do that a bunch too. Like, again, it's that nickel defense is what you're in 60% of the time. And if you're... a lot of the time, what you think of in that nickel defense is just 2 defensive linemen and 2 edge rushers, but teams are going to run all over that if that's actually what you do. So if you put a defensive lineman on that strong side, and that's what he's so good at, like, it just seems like the obvious answer is to have him do what he does so well, and that should take away a bunch of the concerns of teams running the ball out of nickel.
But what you're saying then is he's taking an outside linebacker spot on the field, right?
It depends on how you want to look at it. Like in Madden, that's how they do it, is like they put the outside linebackers down there. But I mean, it's like you need to find a way to get in a neutral situations to be able to defend the pass and the run when there's 3 receivers on the field. And so I don't know whose spot exactly that would be, because it's just whoever plays that role best. And I think that when you have these defensive linemen now, it just makes sense to have him out there. I don't think it makes a whole bunch of sense. Like Benito, you definitely have like on the weak side, and then you have like Cooper on the strong side. But even Jonathan Cooper is going to get pushed around more than John Franklin Myers is. And if it's 50-50 run or pass, you're not selling out to get to the quarterback anyway. You kind of need to be playing the run responsibilities first. So it just makes a lot of sense, especially considering like if you trade for somebody, you probably want him to do what he's been so good at doing.
It's just tough, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think you do sacrifice a little bit of the pass rush.
You do.
Now, could he get to 10 sacks a year? I don't know. He's had 5, he's had 6, he's had 3.5. So he is able to get to the quarterback. So I think that's yet to be seen. I think in him winning one-on-one matchups constantly on the edge remains to be seen. But I think, to your point, I think it could be good. I mean, if he is dominant in the pass rush, and he's strong in the run game, 288 is much bigger than the outside linebackers that we have in this room right now. So I'm not opposed to it. I just would like to see it.
And it depends on the situation, too. Like, if you're playing Mahomes and you just want 2 guys out there to go contain, that makes more sense. If you're playing, like the Chargers, when they go nickel, knowing kind of when they go with 11 personnel, knowing what they like to do offensively, you might want to make sure you're beefy enough up front just to not get pushed around and clamp down the running game.
Yep, for sure. Well, speaking of his pass rush, it's great to end on this note because this is a pass rush by him. This is the first game of the season and the last one I showed you. So I went and watched the last game of the season, kind of what have you done for me lately, and then the first, and which I felt like was kind of his best game, 4 tackles, I think 3 solo, and he also had a sack. So this is the sack in the game, and I thought this was just pure power. You have him outside right here. He's going to be one-on-one with this tackle, and literally kind of just walks him back to the quarterback and finds his way to slip inside and get this sack on Josh Allen. So, if this is what he can do on a consistent basis in nickel against 11 personnel, one-on-one against a tackle, I'm all for it. And this is him kind of at his best right here, making a play. It's funny because he's such a big body that he didn't even wrap Josh Allen up. He kind of just falls into him, and then Josh falls too. So it works out to be big, athletic, physical, and I think that's what he is. So I think I'm really excited about the player that we got, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the front for Denver.
I do too, and let's talk about just how big of an addition he is, and how does he compare to Zach Allen. And Is he the best front seven player the Broncos have right now? Let's get into that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time, where we've got Nuggets playoffs. We've got Avs playoffs, Nuggets. Hopefully they can bring this series back home. And if they do for a Game 5, that's going to be what? Next Tuesday or Wednesday? I think you're going to want to be there and get tickets to see the Nuggets continue their streak. In the Avs, they're coming home on Sunday for their first game at home against the Dallas Stars. And if you want to be there, maybe we're talking about to potentially go up 3-0. Check out our friends over at Game Time and use the code DNVR to get $20 off your tickets over at Game Time by using that code DNVR. And the great thing about Game Time, there's so many things. One, their interface is so user-friendly. And then another thing with Game Time, they've got the Game Time guarantee, meaning you don't have to shop around. They're going to give you the best price on tickets out there. And how do they guarantee that? Well, they've got their Game Time guarantee, which means that if you find a ticket in the same section, in the same row, that's more than what you bought on Game Time, they're going to refund you 110% of that ticket, just to show that you don't need to go anywhere else, because they're going to give you the best ticket prices over at Game Time. Again, use that code DNVR when you download the Game Time app and create an account. That code DNVR is going to get you $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create that account. Use that code DNVR for $20 off tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed. Check out our friends over at Game Time.
And you know, here at DNVR, we definitely love to travel. And when you can travel for sports, I don't think there's anything better to do. And so we'll go to Vegas. We're going to New Orleans. We love to travel wherever, but anytime we can travel, we definitely do. And you guys need to check out our friends over at True Fan Travel. And you can sign up right now for Buffs and Broncos away trips. And let me tell you a little bit about them. So right now, this is your passport to the world of sports, with over 8,000 plus fans traveled to 145 trips last year. You don't just watch the game, you live it. You can travel to the most sought-after games worldwide, from football to baseball to basketball, soccer, and more. Great thing about them is when you travel, you want to travel in style, so you can get custom travel packages that include tickets, 4-star accommodations, and 5-star accommodations, and unique travel local experiences. Make it an unforgettable sports getaway. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. So make sure you head to truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today. Be on the lookout for more road trips brought to you by True Fan Travel. Sign-ups for these road trips are live while sports last. It's tough trying to look and, you know what I'm saying, make sure you're on time.
So far, I think we're 4 for 4 right now.
Yeah, I think we're like giving more than we need to.
I was 90 not to, yeah.
I think we got it figured out.
We got a little bit, speaking of numbers and time, we got a little numbered news coming out right now before we dive back into John Franklin Myers. Bo Nix, we know his number. Zach Wilson, classy move, gave him number 10. So Bo Nix is going to get number 10.
Very nice.
And I just love this. This is what was meant to be. Yep. Zach Wilson's now going to be number 4 after Jarrett Stidham moved to number 8.
That's cool.
Philip Dorsett was wearing number 4, but I don't know what's going to happen to that now. But a good shakeup that I think is right. The first round pick gets his number.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. He deserved it, and he's going to be the man. I think that's a classy move by Zach Wilson, giving it up. And if you beat him out for a spot, you beat him out. But at least you did the right thing to start.
Yep. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, he did the right thing. I wonder if anybody was like, "Hey, Zach, you should do the right thing."
I remember when Cam Newton wanted to be number 2 when he came in there, and I forget who was number 2 before him.
Jimmy Clausen, maybe?
Was it? Okay, but I forget who it was. But Cam was talking about how he came in there and asked for the number, and the guy was like, "Yeah, I'll give it to you for $1 million."
Oh my God!
And he was like, "Are you serious?" And the guy
God.
was like 100% serious. So he was like, "Man, that's why he took number 1. He never wanted to be number 1, but he was like, after that, I wanted to be so good that nobody remembered him as a quarterback."
Oh, damn!
It was Jimmy Clausen, by the way.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
I feel
he did
good
a
about
good
that.
job of
Couldn't
that.
even remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you guys owned Cam Newton, but Cam owned the league outside of
for
Denver
sure.
for a long time. What was it? 15-1. He was the MVP that season.
Yeah, he was
and then
balling.
back-to-back games and Super Bowl 50. Then Week 1 of the following season, Broncos owned him.
Yep, sure did.
But Cam was better than Jimmy Clausen. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, hands down.
Wow.
So very cool. And speaking of the financial part, Zach Wilson did not make Bo pay for it.
Good guy.
Yeah. Zach Wilson also has made more money in his career than Bo will make, at least with his first contract. We hope that Bo ends up making a lot more than Zach Wilson, because it means that second contract is a big one. So that's a little number update. And speaking of numbers, John Franklin Myers, he got a 4-year, $60 million deal from the Jets just a couple of years ago. That's why he was set to make $15 million this year and next year. And the Jets just said, we can't pay you that. We like you as a player, but we can't pay you that. Go somewhere else to try to get that money. When the Broncos traded for him, they obviously got his contract that he was on, but the Broncos said, if we're going to trade for you, we got to make a new deal work out. So the Broncos worked out a new deal with him, 2 years, $15 million total.
Wow.
$7.5 million each year, about $10 million guaranteed. So he's going to be on the team this year. There's no question about that. Probably on the team next year. But when I look at this, holy cow, the Broncos, this is an incredible value move here, because you guys have mentioned Zach Allen and how he compares. Todd, you said they're like very similar players. They're very similar in terms of how they play, their size, their stats, their production. Zach Allen is a $15 million a year player. I think John Franklin Myers is about a $15 million a year player if Zach Allen is, and the Broncos certainly thought Zach Allen was. So to get him at half the price, I think this is an incredible value.
Yeah. I think you got to call his agent. They might be too good of friends. You know? What's going on, man? I think he definitely took a haircut. He must see something here and see something that he could be a part of. That's the only reason why I feel like players do. They want to be part of the quote-unquote rebuild, the new quarterback, be able to play under Sean Payton. You know, those are the reasons why you take less money. Besides that, I mean, you want all you can get. So hopefully that's the reason why he chose it. Because was $15 million guaranteed? Or how much of that?
I don't know. His guarantees almost ran out after the first 2 years.
Okay. So
he did get more guarantees with the 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, basically the guarantees were over. I think he's going to be productive for sure. When you just look through like 3.5 sacks, 5 sacks, 6 sacks, like that's a nice addition to the inside of your defense. Like that's very valuable. It's what Zach Allen gave you has given to the Broncos and the Cardinals over the last couple of years. 5.5 sacks is his career high. It's what Draymond Jones gave to the Broncos before Zach Allen got here, was about that same 4, 5, 6 sacks. And so now you have two of those guys for the first time in a while. You have two guys who can rush from the inside. And, you know, neither one of them is Chris Jones or Aaron Donald or a guy like that, but they're both good football players. And I think what I like the best about it is it just bumps everybody down a spot in the rotation. Like now Malcolm Roach comes in off the bench, and that's a role that he has succeeded in for a while. It's awesome to see a guy like that get an opportunity to be a full-time starter, but you don't know exactly what you're going to get when that happens. And so now all of a sudden you look through he's their number 4. You know, their number 5 is a guy who makes sense as number 5. Number 6 is a guy who makes sense as number 6. And so his defensive line that was not deep enough at all last year seems like it's solved. And they have a few good options right off the top.
Yeah, and the Broncos, George Payton made it very clear right after the season about how to make the defense better. And he said we have to make, I actually think maybe it was how to make the team better. And he said we have to make the run defense better. And they have invested big time. They obviously had Zach Allen. Now they add him. They add they add Malcolm Roach. Everyone thought, including me, that they were going to get rid of DJ Jones because of the savings. No, they kept DJ Jones because they didn't want to weaken that. Now they've really helped their front 7 with his addition. And I mentioned how like Zach Allen's a $15 million a year player. Draymond Jones, also a $15 million a year player. In terms of stats and production, that's exactly John Franklin Myers matches up with both of those guys in terms of production. Todd, you mentioned it earlier, 6 sacks 3 years ago, 5 sacks 2 years ago, 3.5 sacks last year, a full-time starter. the past 3 seasons, a 4th-round pick, and a 4th-round pick for a defensive lineman. Those guys can absolutely become starters and become very highly paid guys. So I think the Broncos got a great player here. Is he the best player on the Broncos front 7?
I think that's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think DJ Jones is still has the potential to be the best player on the front. Now JFM is really talented and he's getting close. And, you know, I think he's very comparable to Zach Allen. I think it's by preference who you want to say is better there. But I still would say that DJ Jones is probably the best player on the front for us.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of them that are all, like, kind of bunched in there. Like, I would also go DJ Jones. But you got DJ with Zach Allen and Singleton and Jonathan Cooper. And, like, so you've just got all these guys. They're like B players, which is good enough.
You call Alex a B player? Hey, clip that.
No.
Oh, now he's backtracking.
We were talking about the front 4, and then he just added Alex in there.
B is good. B is good.
That's crazy.
We like a B is a good player. if you had all Bs, you're winning 11 games. Top to bottom, all Bs. But yeah, so I mean, you just have a bunch of those guys who are like productive, like certainly starters in the NFL. Like you're not worried about them. But yeah, like I don't think anybody in their front 7 has ever made a Pro Bowl.
Do they have anybody that, in your opinion, is there anybody that can make a Pro Bowl? Like, do they have the potential? Is there potential there? Or is it kind of just this is who they are and they play at this level very well?
Yeah, I would say so. The 3 defensive linemen, that's kind of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the inside linebackers, unless you want to count Drew Sanders, like they kind of are who they are. The outside linebackers, they're younger though. So like if Nick Benito makes a Pro Bowl, if he does it this year, I'd be surprised. But like he definitely has the potential to do that. Jonah Ellis is a rookie, so you don't know. But yeah, I'd say the outside linebackers, I'd say it's 50-50. One of those guys goes to a Pro Bowl at some point in their career.
Man, if you get to choose who makes a Pro Bowl, I think you're absolutely choosing one of the outside linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Baron Browning, because that means he was able to be healthy, because that's, I think, where you feel the most impact. That's why Vaughn was the number 2 overall pick in the draft, is because of that impact at that value position. But I just got to apologize on Henry's behalf to our guy Alex for that slander. I think Alex, of any of the front 7 guys, has the best chance to be a Pro Bowler this year, because Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton were a great duo. Josie took a lot of tackles away from Alex, just as Alex took away a lot of tackles away from Josie. If they haven't filled the next inside linebacker spot next to Alex with another Josie Jewell, we might see
Even
Alex
more
go for a
tackles.
career high like 190. Maybe we get to that 200 mark. And if he continues that, then what do you ask from an inside linebacker? That's exactly what you ask for. Make every tackle. And he might just rack up so many tackles this year where the defense is just, or the voters for Pro Bowl just can't keep him off the ballot. So I think we're back in Alex's good graces.
Okay.
Like, we are. Me and you are. You know what I'm
we
saying?
are.
I don't know about that guy.
I got to give a shout out to very special friends of ours. Yeah, what do you got, Hank?
Do you see Alex and Quinn are playing cornhole?
Just like in a tournament or something?
Yeah,
Or what do you
I
mean?
think like in the professional cornhole league. I haven't dug into the details, but yeah, it's like May 15th or something.
You want to
I'll
dive into
figure
the
that out,
details
yeah.
right now when I give a shout out to our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing? It is nasty weather out here today. It's gray. That's why I went with the all gray, just to match the weather today. And if you need to make sure that your roof is ready, whether it's a home or a business roof, is ready for any sort of inclement weather, you got to check out our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing, where Red Hawk Roofing has the best materials, decades of experience, quick response time. They've also got Colorado's best estimators and contractors. And here's the big one. They're big DNVR supporters and have been for a while. We put our stamp of approval on them, which means you know you can trust it. And in the roofing game, you don't really know who to trust, and you can trust our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Free, no obligation roof and property inspections. Free in-depth photo reports for all inspections. Hail's here. We might get hail tonight. And so if you need to prepare your roof for hail season, or you need to make sure that you get your roof fixed after hail hits, make sure to call our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Go to redhawkroofing.com and tell them the DNVR sent you. Whether it's for your home or your business, Red Hawk Roofing is there.
A shout out to our friends over at the Breckenridge Brewery. You guys know we love Breck Brew, and we love the space that they have there, the brewery, the restaurant, even the gift shop. Get you some clothes, get you a couple koozies for your beer. And then while you're there, definitely have a drink or two. We keep the Broncos Country Pale Ale on set, but they have tons for you to try, whether it's the Avalanche Amber Ale, the Mile High City, the Fun Slinger, and their hard seltzers also can't be beat with their good company hard seltzer. So you can check them out at breckbrew.com. They are the official beer of the DNVR. Go to breckbrew.com to find the brew near you.
Wow,
Henry,
nice one. That was perfect.
Henry, what's your favorite Breck brew?
Strawberry Sky. Yeah,
I mean, that's just a classic.
it is the best one. Yep.
Did you like the RK special?
No,
No.
that's not good.
It was
What is that?
the RK special
He just
was
mixed
a combo that he made. What was it? IPA?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the Hot Peak or the
IPA.
Juice Drop.
So an IPA beer mixed with the Strawberry Sky.
Huh.
Shelby Harris tried it and said it was awful.
Where did he try it?
Here.
Yeah.
We had,
Really?
yeah. We had him on the show a
it was
couple of
before I
years ago.
was Bronco.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
maybe
thought
right
it was
before.
like yesterday. My dog didn't tell me he was coming on the show, and then you guys just invited guests and I tell. I'm like, this is crazy.
Oh man, you'll be excited to hear who we have on later today when you're not here.
Who?
No one.
Benny? Hey, Benny Fowler, come on, man. Stop playing
we
around.
gotta have Benny.
He's coming on.
awesome.
He's coming on the show soon.
Yes.
He got a lot to say, y'all.
Oh yes,
So
he
be
does.
ready.
Oh, that'll be a fun one.
So-
what'd you find out?
Okay, so the ACL, the American Cornhole League, is the big cornhole league in America. They
I
have
wonder how you put that together.
Yeah. I googled it. This is like the top. This is the league. They have the Super Hole series,
Oh.
which I believe.
What is
I
that
know.
like?
Well, that's what Quinn and Alex are doing. The Super
magical.
Bowl series. Yeah. So basically, the whole thing is like it's a celebrity cornhole series. I think if you win, maybe you move on. I don't totally understand, but it's next Saturday, live on ESPN2, 10 p.m. Mountain Time. $20 tickets if anybody's in Vegas, and it's going to be Alex Singleton with a pro against Alexander Madison, who you played with, right?
Yeah. Running back.
With a
Vikings.
pro. And then Quinn will play AJ Cole, the punter. And so it's like a bracket, I think. And then also there's like another side of the bracket with Arden Key, L'Jarius Sneed, Tim Settle, and Steven Sims. So I'll be watching, because why not?
Yeah.
Also, if I was in Vegas, $20, Cody, you might need to go check these guys out.
Are you gonna be rooting for them?
Oh, yeah.
Just wasn't sure where you stand with
The Broncos.
Montana State.
The Broncos.
Yeah, that's true. You do like Quinn a lot.
I'm pulling for both. The Broncos. That's what matters here.
That is what matters here. Again, the Toyota chat been popping off. We really appreciate it. What?
2020 and 2021, 2022, Doug Flutie went back to back.
Cornhole?
Yeah, winning this.
Wow.
I didn't know he had that
Doug
in him.
Flutie. Wow.
Doug Flutie, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that either. You guys know, Todd, have you ever sacked Tom Brady?
No, I don't think so.
You hit him, though.
Yeah.
John Franklin Meyer sacked Tom Brady in a Super Bowl
That's pretty cool.
as a rookie. When he was with the Rams, remember that disgusting Super Bowl? It was 13-3, and just like the worst sort of Super Bowl you could have, especially with the Patriots coming out on top. John Franklin Meyer got a sack on Tom in that game. He was a fourth-round pick, had a sack on Brady in the Super Bowl, and then the Rams released him before the start of the next season. Then I think there was something to do with an injury, because then that next year he didn't play the Jets then picked him up after that,
Yeah, the next
and
year.
he didn't play that entire year. Then started the following year, only started a couple of games in the past 3 years, became a full-time starter. He's still young, so I think this is something where he might get another contract from the Broncos after this 2 years is up. But do we know why they released him?
No, I'm not sure. I couldn't find the information online.
No, I don't
really,
know.
Really bizarre.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, all you need to know about John Franklin Meyer. Broncos got for sure starter and a guy that's really going to help them. And speaking of helping them, what do you have?
I was just curious. So, Todd, you had 4 sacks, 4 different quarterbacks.
Oh.
Could you name those quarterbacks?
No, Brock Osweiler, Cam Newton.
Oh, Cam was one of them.
Was that the 2016 game?
Yeah.
Open the season?
Yeah.
Yep. Fourth quarter.
Wait, you got Brock when he was with the Texans?
Yeah.
They don't have Brock in here.
Oh,
I'll
he's
see if-
definitely on there. I mean, he's definitely one of them. Oh, I also sacked Baker Mayfield too. They don't have him on there either.
No, they've got.
That's why I gotta call him to the
That's it. You do need to call.
I have pictures too.
Huh.
Of you literally taking them down and you don't get credit for it.
Yeah, I'll show you guys.
Oh wow. So
Are you,
yeah,
are you
this
sure the
is-
Brock Osweiler one wasn't in practice? You just like went crazy on him in practice?
Nah, shout out to Brock though. He's a good dude.
This is Cam Newton, Mitch Trubisky, Tyrod Taylor, and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, okay.
Was the Mitch
Not bad.
Trubisky when he was with the Bears?
That was yes, and Todd was with the Vikings.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
4-yard sack.
4-yard sack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he tried to get away from me.
Damn, I thought Trubisky was going
Third
to
down
be
sack, too.
when you were with the Broncos, and I was going to say you would have been Vic Fangio's favorite guy that next week if you would have got his Bears.
Who?
Todd, as you
Good
pull up
times.
some photo evidence, why don't we hit some super chats right now? And just a reminder, hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Got a lot of people tuning in with us right now, and not enough thumbs up. But let's hit these super chats. First one coming in from Alex Cook, who says, name a better combo than lunchtime and a DNVR pod.
Can't beat
I
it.
love that,
Yeah.
Alex. I mean, the only other better combo would be like a primetime game, so you're not
Yeah.
working, with DNVR.
See, and I was almost thinking like dinner time, like
Yeah.
dessert time. Could that be better?
Yeah, that's true. Ice cream with DNVR.
Wow.
Yeah.
We might need to throw a party. Ice cream
Hey,
with
you'll
DNVR.
be able to do that next week when the schedule drops Wednesday at 6 p.m.
That's true.
We'll be doing a special schedule show. So I really appreciate the super chat, but maybe there is one thing that's better, and it's after work with DNVR.
Yeah,
Next
that
Wednesday,
might be
6
better.
p.m. Make sure to be rocking and rolling with us. Riptie says, game changer, no, talking about JFM, but solid addition, yes. Who's the nose tackle? Our run defense was garbage.
Oh wow.
It's probably a lot of DJ, which DJ, at least a couple years ago, I haven't talked to him about recently. He did not love that. But I feel like that's almost a thing for defensive linemen is like, why would you want to be the guy who's right in the middle getting double teamed? But yeah, so, okay, thanks, Zach. Yeah, so I mean, he's your defensive tackle. I would say Malcolm Roach played plenty of nose tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rashard Lawrence, who they brought over, did. I'm not sure how much Angelo Blackson played, but I think they can work their way around it.
I think we're just going to see a ton of rotation, and that's something that
so.
the Broncos have bought themselves with Malcolm Roach, with JFM, because you also have Matt Henningsen, who had a really promising rookie season, was okay last year, but I think they have depth now, and I think that's such a key for defensive linemen. Unless you're an Aaron Donald, unless you're like the top 1%, you need time off.
Yeah.
In order to be at the top of your game, and now the Broncos finally have that depth. They did not have that last year, but yeah, probably DJ Jones. I mean, he's your highest paid true nose tackle, big guy in the center, with a lot of Malcolm Roach too. And those guys might be on the field at the same time, especially if the run defense struggles at any point. Those are your two best, like true just run stuffers. So you have them on the field, and that just frees up Alex Singleton for more tackles.
Yep. Also, so this cornhole thing, there are 5 prelims throughout the summer. You just need to win your prelim, and you go to the Super Hole 5 championship in
Whoa.
early 2025.
We gotta do that.
You think he would? You think Sean would, like, before a playoff game, let him miss the Saturday before so he can go compete in the
Heck
playoff
no.
tournament?
I would doubt it.
Yeah, no.
I would imagine they're planning, with all these NFL players, they're planning on scheduling around the conflicts. Would be
Like-
my
That's
guess.
So maybe it won't be until middle of February for the Broncos then.
Or January.
Oh wow!
But I hope
Again,
I hope
negative
they can't do it till
Nancy.
late February. Yep.
There we go. I like that. Tom Bosley says, could Hank average more on the field than BJ West?
Average more what, I think is the question.
Receiving yards. Which, he has like 5 catches for -5 yards?
Yeah,
So
so-
could Hank average more than -1 receiving yard?
Just don't throw me the ball.
Wow.
I guess so.
That's
I
true.
guess so. Yeah.
That's true.
I was about to say heck no, but I guess.
Actually, no, we already know. Henry is averaging more. than BJ West right now.
Yeah, I am.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah, 0.
That's a good
Well, I mean,
point because
0 divided by 0.
Hank doesn't even show up on the stat sheet right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That is true. I'm definitely not on the
you
South
would-
Alabama stat sheet.
you would show up on the stat sheet if you got a target.
I
Because
would.
then they have to put you on, even though it's no
Yeah.
catch.
Yeah.
And then you would be averaging more.
So if the goal is to win a football game, like
No.
it's not going to happen. If the goal is just to get me a target for 0 yards, we could manage that.
But could we actually have that happen?
Will Sean Payton put me on the football field for a real
That is
play?
correct,
The
yeah.
answer is no. We could not get that to happen.
Heck no.
How much do you think he'd have to pay Sean?
To put you on the field?
He likes
And
money.
all the scrutiny that he would get for putting you on the roster,
You
then
give
for
him
putting you
Miller.
on the
A
field.
mil. You give Sean a mil. I think he'll do
You
it.
I
think
think
he'd
he
do it?
would.
Okay.
I'm
Even
just-
when he's
I
getting
don't know
paid
if he
20
would,
a
but I
year?
would do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too. That's
I'll
for
put you on
sure.
the field.
Angel says, "Is it too soon to buy a John Franklin Myers jersey?"
No.
No.
Yeah, he'll be here for a little while. I'd go
Yeah.
do it. Why not?
Yeah. He has a number, right? Was it 97?
It is not number 97.
What? That's
he
DJ.
is wearing. He wore 91 with the
Yep.
Jets, but now that's Matt Henningsen, so he's switching to number 98.
98.
That's a
right.
good defensive lineman number.
It is. Get that big old 98 jersey.
You might be the only one who has one right now outside of like John Franklin Myers' family. Because I just don't know if a defensive lineman's the sexiest
Oh, that reminds
jersey
me.
that people are
We
getting.
were talking about the Zach Wilson jersey. I got DM on Twitter. It was a photo of a signed Maurice Claret jersey that a Bronco fan got back in the day.
Was it a Broncos jersey?
Yeah.
Wow.
Aged poorly.
Wow. Speaking of signed jerseys, got to give a shout out again to our guy Spacebar. He came to the bar a couple of
Yes.
days ago. Brought a DNVR customized Broncos jersey. The nameplate said DNVR, number 00. He had us ruin it by Hank and I signing it
Yep.
with Ryan as well. He did get Todd's signature, which is pretty cool. Todd, are you on the wall of fame?
No, I didn't get asked to. The thing about it is, I came up with this idea. And I was
Oh,
like, we should
you
have-
came up with it.
Yes,
Yes.
Ryan has said he's come up with it.
Ryan does. Ryan says that he's the one who came up with Jimmy Palm
When I
trees.
started here, there was no autographs on the wall. And
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
that we should get a shirt.
Yeah.
And we should do that. But I have not been asked to do it, which is crazy.
It is
Wow.
crazy.
So-
Because you're the Todd Davis, and also you have a really cool signature.
But
Like a lot of
it's
those,
all right.
a lot of those are pretty cool, but some
Yeah.
are not
The other
like
funny
the
part
sharpest signature.
is that like
Uh-huh.
we about 5 of them or so are Buffs players, and about half of them have transferred,
Oh no!
which is a little bit sad. But there's a
Dang.
couple of them in there we're just going through.
You know, we got PS2, we got Alex Singleton, the great Alex Singleton. We got Josie Jewell,
Forsberg,
there.
Sakic,
Yep.
Josh Kroenke.
Man, we got a lot of cool ones too.
Good stuff.
So we're gonna have to bring this up. Ryan's gonna be on the show tomorrow. We're gonna have to bring
That's
this
right.
conversation up. Maybe Ryan just picks things from other people and then says they're his.
Yeah, he said he came up with Jimmy Palm trees.
Is that not true either?
James was very adamant that it was Kay Adams who came up with that.
Oh.
And if one of them was to hear the other one come up with it, I would guess it was Ryan hearing Kay say it. If I had to guess.
Wow. Calling
Put him in the hot
Ryan's
seat.
I don't know.
calling his ethics into question.
I'm just
right
saying,
now.
like, there's 2 examples right there. People with conflicting reports.
Speaking of Ryan Stone chiming in says, Todd, what was more fun for you, getting a sack or an interception?
An interception. A sack is cool because the crowd
course.
goes wild and everybody on the defense is excited. But an interception, everybody's excited, and the offense is just as happy for you because now they got the ball in good field position. Especially if you score or something with it, then it's like
Like you
you
did.
can't be beat. Yeah, I did, but you know what I'm saying? It's a good feeling for
How
sure.
many picks did you have?
Not many.
Henry, you have his stats up.
I had the deep search for sacks when Todd was on the field.
Was it off of... what do you mean a deep search for sacks when Todd was on the field?
I was in coverage all
I
day,
got
so
all the
you're not
data.
really like.
Sacks are just so easy to just see how many... Oh, but you
Just-
said
but I
like
had to-
who he's
I wanted
playing
to
up
find the
against.
specific
I see.
plays.
Uh-huh.
One,
Also-
so off of Josh Rosen.
Yep,
Man, 1 for
To the
1
crib.
in returning them?
to the crib.
To the
Damn.
crib. Should have put you at punt
That
returner.
is impressive. And our
I
final
did get
one
loose though.
coming in from Edward Wright says, what is the role of JL Skinner this year?
Primarily special teams, I think. is
Stay
gonna be
ready.
His role. Yeah,
That's
and
his
then
role.
Whenever he gets the opportunity, like PJ Locke got or Caden Stearns in the past got, I think that's when he takes advantage of it.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, fighting for a roster spot. There's a lot of guys in that safety room. Going to be 4 guys that eventually make the team.
Yep.
And we'll continue to break down that safety room, just like we're continuing to break down this roster, the rookie class, the additions that the Broncos have had. And tomorrow, we're doing something very fun. We're going to go and look back at the past 5 Broncos drafts and give them grades now that they've got some time in the NFL. It's either going to be fun or very depressing. I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be fun on a Friday. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.